Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel, and yes, it's another Casey Anthony trial video. So the next witness is Roy House, who goes by the name of Clint. He went to the same university as Nathan and Cameron. He was at that uni for 10 months and he lived at the same apartment with Tony and Cameron, but he was only there for a few months between April and June. He also slept on the couch. In May 2008, he met Casey at the same party as the others did. He said she seemed like a fun party girl. He knew she had a kid through Tony. Casey didn't tell him personally. He met Kaylee 4 or 5 times at the apartment, and he again confirms that Kaylee never spent the night. He didn't mind when Casey started staying over more and more. Casey told him that she worked at Universal Studios, but he never saw any credentials. He said she never complained about work. He did see her leaving the apartment, which he thought she was going to work. When Casey moved in, he says that's when he stopped seeing Kaylee. Clint did ask where she was, and Casey again told him that she was with the nanny. Casey never gave them the name of the nanny, but indicated that the nanny was local. Casey never appeared worried or sad when questioned about Kaylee, and Nathan says her demeanour never changed. Again, he says she would go outside when she spoke on the phone, and she said it was either her mum or the nanny. Again, her demeanour never changed. She never seemed scared or worried. He would socialise with her at Fusion with the others, as Clint was part of putting an event on at Fusion every Friday night in partnership with Tony. She would help promote the Fusion bar mainly to her friends through Facebook and MySpace, but he says her friends never turned up. His girlfriend Maria Kish, and she would go to the event nights at Fusion with Clint. He says when Casey was at Fusion, she was partying and having a good time. She was happy. He also says that Casey and Tony seemed happy together also. He never saw them fight. He never saw Casey be sad, mad, angry, depressed or withdrawn. She was always the same. Bearing in mind, at this point, Kaylee is missing and most likely dead. He wasn't living at the apartment when Cindy turned up, so he can't comment on that. He moved out about 2 weeks before that, and the only contact he had with Casey after that was because he and Tony had a falling out, and she was trying to be the good girlfriend and sort it out between them. He said she would text him to go hang out and ask him to squash their beef. They eventually did, but it wasn't due to Casey. And there was no other contact other than that. He says while he was living there, Casey never told him that Kaylee was missing, kidnapped, nor did she look for her or ask for help. The cross-examination, he says he knew Casey for only a month and a half. He said Kaylee would come over with a backpack with toys in it. He remembers there were flashcards and Casey would go through these flashcards with Kaylee. He never saw Kaylee malnourished or mistreated. He knew of the time when Casey, Tony and Kaylee went to the pool. Casey would help her boyfriend Tony to promote the event at Fusion. He says Casey was a friendly girl, she was nice and cared about people, and she cared about Clint even though she barely knew him. He has since learned that during that time Kaylee was dead, and the whole time Casey was living with them he never saw her demeanour change. Now, he did look a bit, I feel for these people because the whole time this child was dead and they were living with this person and she was carrying on as normal. It's just balmy. So the next witness is Maria Kish, Clint's now ex-girlfriend. She said they started dating in May 2008. They didn't live together. She met Casey at the same party as everyone else through Clint, who introduced her. She already knew Nathan, Tony and Cameron. At some point she did meet Kaylee at Tony's apartment. Maria had gone over to see Clint and she knocked on the door and Kaylee answered the door. She said she spent about 20 minutes with Kaylee. She never saw Kaylee after that day. Maria was at the apartment 2 to 3 times a week and stayed over a couple of times. Clint told her at some point that Casey was there all the time, and Casey was there when Maria would go over. She says that her and Casey didn't have a friendship, they were just more like acquaintances. Maria never had an argument with Casey, and Casey told Maria about her work at Universal as an event planner. She didn't give her any details, and she never saw any ID for Universal, and Maria didn't have any reason to question her. Basically, she didn't really care. You know, she wasn't best friends with her. Maria did socialise with her outside of the apartment, with her at bars, and they'd go to eat out, but she wasn't close to her. She says that Maria, from what she saw, Tony and Casey got along well. Then she never saw them argue. On the 20th of June 2008, Maria did go to Fusion with Clint, and Casey was there. She remembers because there was a hot body contest and Casey entered it. Maria remembers Casey was wearing a thin blue knit dress for the contest. They show a photograph, the same photograph that they showed previously, of Nathan and Casey, and it confirms that the dress that Maria says she was wearing. Maria didn't participate in the contest. She says Casey was in charge of the shop girls and saw her talking to them about what they should and should not do, but can't remember if Casey told the shop girls what they should be wearing. She said Casey never appeared angry or upset. Maria stayed at Fusion that night until it closed and stayed at the apartment with Clint. She saw Casey in the apartment in the kitchen the next morning. Maria spoke to Casey about Kaylee and asked where she was. Again, Kaylee was with the nanny. Casey didn't give her the nanny's name, and she told her that she paid the nanny $400 a week. They spoke about Kaylee's dad, and Casey told Maria that Kaylee's dad was dead. Casey also told her that she was going to be moving into her parents' house with Kaylee because they were moving out and giving her the house. Casey never told Maria that Kaylee was missing or kidnapped, or that she was out looking for her, nor did she ask for help to find her. Maria did go in Casey's car once with Tony and Clint. These stories are just crazy. I don't know how she does it. The cross-examination, when Maria went out in the car, they were just going for something to eat. She can't remember who drove. It was either Casey or Tony, and she didn't smell any foul odour. Clint didn't say the car smelled, neither did Tony. It didn't bother her that Casey was staying at the apartment, but she did find it odd that she was there all the time. Now, at this point, the defence is trying to get Maria to say that it pissed her off that Casey was there all the time and her boyfriend was there all the time, but Maria was calm and basically said it didn't bother her. She wasn't bothered. So good for her. Okay, that's the end of those two witnesses. I will be back in the next video with more witnesses. Till then, bye for now.